Ha, that was a perfect headshot. Chuckled a portly man with an unappealing face and a light brown beard. Clad in white attire, his countenance was obscured by a spherical glass-like contraption. Devoted fans of the renowned One Piece anime would instantaneously identify him as Saint Roseward. Unrelenting in his actions, Roseward didn't cease with that one shot. He continued to unleash a barrage of bullets upon the unsuspecting individuals on the deck, honing his aiming skills. As Isshiki regained his senses, he couldn't help but hear the raucous laughter emanating from that direction. His gaze fixated upon the source, he muttered incessantly, his voice tinged with madness. "What's so funny? What's so funny?" Then, his gaze fell upon the man who was laughing, and a look of surprise crossed Ishiki's face as he uttered, "Celestial dragons." It was an unexpected sight, leaving him puzzled as to why they would be present in this place. However, the puzzlement soon transformed into a ferocious determination, and with an enraged voice, he exclaimed, "You pig, celestial dragons! I am going to kill you." Taking out his pistol, he aimed it at the celestial dragon before him. Unbeknownst to him, a surge of enhanced vision accompanied his fury, allowing him to see with remarkable clarity. Yet, blinded by his fury and lacking the expertise of a sharpshooter, he unleashed a relentless stream of shots, each one missing its intended target. Compounding his challenge was the considerable distance that separated him from the ship of the celestial dragons. Reacting swiftly, the guards of St. Roseward positioned themselves as a protective barrier, shielding their esteemed leader from any potential harm. With a depleted supply of bullets, Isshiki found himself devoid of ammunition. It was at this juncture that the guards stepped aside. "You trash! How dare you speak to me in such a manner and brandish your gun at me?" bellowed St. Roseward, his voice dripping with contempt. Drawing his own firearm, he took aim at Isshiki, but his shot veered off target, merely grazing Ishiki's shoulder. The sheer force of the weapon caused an explosive impact, tearing away a substantial portion of Ishiki's shoulder in its wake. And Isshiki fell to the deck, bleeding heavily and feeling heart-wrenching pain. Seeing that he had missed the target, St. Roseward grew annoyed and said, "Sink this ship. It's no fun. There are only a few weaklings, not even worth the entertainment." As St. Roseward's words fell, the enormous ship of the celestial dragon sank Ishiki's ship. The logo on the sails, similar to the Otsutsuki clan from the Naruto anime, was blown off first, followed by the hull and the deck. Within minutes, the entire ship started sinking. Isshiki also fell into the sea, his entire life playing before his eyes like a movie. He was reborn on a small island in East Blue after dying in an accident. Fortunately, he was born into a good family, and his father was a small businessman who traded with other small islands. His parents named him Isshiki. At first, he wondered how he could have such a name. As a traveler, he knew how powerful Isshiki Otsutsuki was. Even Naruto had to loose the Nine Tails to defeat Isshiki, and that Isshiki wasn't even at his peak. But then he thought, maybe he would become overpowered like Isshiki, and that's why fate had given him this name. However, reality hit him hard. Forget about being overpowered. He wasn't even as strong as his peers. He was very sensitive to pain, and even a small pain felt like the agony of a broken bone to him. Mentally, though, he was very strong, a total genius. Due to this, he always preferred reading in his house and never went out to play his whole life. And just like that, he lived the seemingly idyllic life of a wealthy young boy. However, fate had a different plan in store for him. At the tender age of 14, tragedy struck when his father fell victim to pirates during his return from a business venture on distant islands. The loss weighed heavily on him, casting a pall of sadness over his days. Yet, within the depths of his sorrow, a flicker of determination ignited. Although he knew he could never attain the awe-inspiring power of legendary figures like Luffy, the Sea Emperors, and the Admirals, he resolved to carve his own path to greatness. Armed with his unwavering resolve and keen intellect, he embarked on a journey to forge his destiny. 4 years flew by in a whirlwind of tireless effort and meticulous planning, until finally, At the age of 18, against his mother's wishes, he set sail as a burgeoning sea merchant. With each passing voyage, his reputation grew, and his name resonated throughout the vast expanse of the East Blue. He became a celebrated figure in the maritime trade, his exploits capturing the imagination of those who heard his tales. 3 days ago, he seized the opportunity to fulfill a long-held promise to his grieving mother. Together, they embarked on a breathtaking sea tour, granting her the chance to witness the beauty and vastness of the ocean that had eluded her since her beloved husband's passing. Yet, fate, ever capricious, chose this moment to intervene once more. In the depths of despair, as his tired eyes grew heavy and his thoughts swirled, doubts plagued his mind. Perhaps, he mused with a tinge of resignation, my aspirations were destined to remain but distant dreams. Like the weight of my own name, burdened with lofty expectations, my ambitions seemed to mock me. But in the recesses of his weary soul, a glimmer of hope remained. If fortune were to grant me another chance, he silently vowed, my life's purpose would be to dismantle and obliterate every vestige of the detested celestial dragons. And just as his weary body and weary mind teetered on the precipice of oblivion, an ethereal voice whispered faintly in his ears. However, as his consciousness faded into the abyss, he wasn't able to hear anything.
Ding.
The host's wish has been granted. Template system activating. Congratulations on getting Isshiki Otsutsuki template. As he descended deeper into the sea, and he slipped into a state of complete unconsciousness. However, in that very moment, an immense creature emerged, delicately scooping him into its mouth and gracefully swimming away.